This is Irontrader, and this is Midday Trading. Today, we're going to look at a couple of AI trades, artificial intelligence. The first one we're going to look at is an ETF, AIQ, and the second one we're going to look at is BOTZ, BOTZ. This video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy, sell any stock, buy the ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Okay, first on the docket is AIQ. Now, artificial intelligence is going to basically be the future. Now, here's an easy way of trading it, unless you want to trade each individual stock. So, I'm just going to give you a little bit of list here of what is actually in AIQ. Intel, Meta, IBM, Amazon, Google, Qualcomm, CRM, Adobe Systems, Netflix. Okay, so you have a lot of stuff, really good stuff in here if you just want to trade, one ETF versus all those stocks. And you can see, look what a beautiful run it had, all the way from 1801 all the way to 32. So you had almost a double going on there so far. Look at that. Okay, so let's take a look at the charts. We got the old daily and the weekly. All right, daily chart. Well, I always point out that 8 SMA, and here's the reason I do. Okay? See, when you follow it all the way up, nicely. When that price goes down below it, well, then she goes below it. Okay? Then you fight it. Now, you are back below the old 8 SMA here. However, you had 32.22, and that was a nice, good top there. But you had 4 days in a row, and usually when you get a pattern like that of the 4 days, that really tells you that, okay, it's going to sell off. Another key I want to show you here is I always point out here on this RSI. Okay, what do you have here for divergence? Now, when you look at this high or even this high, okay, so you look at here, you say, okay, I got a high. But now you have a higher high and then you have a lower high. See that negative divergence? Okay, you add that up there with these 5 days in a row that it couldn't break out, okay, actually, 4 days that you couldn't break out, that tells you that she's going to sell off and go a little bit lower. So let's just look here now on the downside. What are we going to look at? Well, you want to look at yesterday's candle. So you're looking at 31.25. Right below that here, we have your 21 SMA at 31.05, okay? So then what we have is we have a couple of gaps, okay? Not big ones, but little gaps. Okay, 30.86 is your gap, and 30.82 is your fill. So just a small gap and fill. And then we look to the bottom here, you have 30.52, and then on top, what do you have? 30.43. So another gap and a fill. So you always want to watch the gaps and a fill because usually they'll get taken back out. Just like we had, see, you have a gap and a fill, and then what happened? Boom, filled it all right in, okay? So your key levels is going to be this 31.05, and then right below it, you have that 30.58. Now, you always want to watch that 8 SMA here. That's sitting at 31.04, which lines up very nicely with the 21 SMA. That on the weekly chart, that's always very, very strong support or resistance, however you're trading it. Now, if that 30.58 is lost, well, then you got this 29.80 here, which will give you a good support level all the way through, and then we have your 100-day here, and then we have your 200 estimate. But we also have, there's a lot of, you can see the gaps all the way on down. This would be the next gap that you'd be looking for, would be 28.70, and then we look to the top of that, you're looking at 28.32. So another gap and fill all the way on down, but we wouldn't worry about that there until you got an actual sell-off. However, right now, on the upside, let's just take a little peek ski. Well, here's what you have to look at is this 8 SMA, 31.79. Okay, if you can get above that and close back above that, then you can retest that 32.22 very, very easily. That will be a really, really nice trade if you can get above that. Now, if you get above that, that's your breakout level, and then she can go much higher. So bottom line, real key, real quick, is watch that 8 SMA on the upside. If you can close above, 32.22 is your target. Watch yesterday's candle on the downside. You got 31.25. If that's lost, you got a nice 31.05 here on your 21 day. 30-50 day on your 50-day, and 29.80 here on your retest of the price channel. Okay. All right. The next one we're going to look at here is BOTZ, BOTZ. All right, here we have BOTZ, BOTZ. Now you can see that this one here does a little bit. You can look at the volume area there. This one here does a lot more volume than the AIQ, okay? But again, that doesn't mean anything here. I mean, you know, unless you're trading, you know, 100, 200,000 shares, you can still easily trade, you know, 5, 10, 20,000 shares of this, and that's really not no problem at all, okay? So let's take a look at the old BOTZ. So what we want to look at here on the upside, let me bigger up a little bit, is we want to look at this 8 SMA. Okay, that's going to be very, very crucial. If you can get above that, then we'll come to the top of yesterday's candle. You're looking at 29.14. Now, that's the gap. And then if you look to the bottom of there, you have 29.20. So these are just small gaps and fills. But realistically, your big target there is going to go, if you can get above that 8 SMA here, you're looking at 29.56. Okay, so that's what we're looking. Now, here on the downside, well, again, we want to look at yesterday's candle. That's 28.57. So far today, we have an inside day, which basically means your high, your low is within the high and low of the previous day. Now, again, if that 28.57 is lost, then what do we have here? You have a nice 28.45. That is sitting there very, very nice. And then we come right over here to your 27.78. Very, very, you know, everything is sitting right there. It's very, very tight. And then we have your price channel. You're looking at, what is your price channel at? You're sitting at 26.69, which is 29.66. So let's look at your 200-day. That would be your key support levels there, okay? Now, if you can break above that 29.56, well, then you have a really nice target up here at 30.26 here, okay? So again, we have this negative divergence. So when you look at the RSI here, high, okay? Yeah, you got a high, but now we've got a higher high and you got a lower high. See that negative divergence, okay? That always is the first sign that says, hey, this is going to sell, but then you can always rebuy this here very, very easily. It's really no big deal. And this is a really good way to trade the AI movement, which is going to be around. Whether you think it's going to be or not, it's here and it's going to be staying here, okay? So bottom line, when you look at the weekly chart here, you can see where you had a top here of 30 flat, and then we had a retest, what do you have, 30.26. But you can see the red candle, okay, double topped, and then she came right on down. Now, when you look at this weekly pattern here, what do you see? Okay, I see a left shoulder here. You have your head, and then we have a right shoulder. So if, big if, you can break above and close above that level at that 30.26, well, then we can just rally way on up here, all the way up here to this level here. You're looking in the 40 area. Very, very easy. On the downside here, you want to look at that 8 SMA. Very, very key, 28.75. And then we want to look at that 200 at 27.86. And right below this, you got your 50-day and your 21-day pretty much glued right there at 26.27. So that's all right here in the same kind of for your support levels here. But this is a one that you can trade for the AI. This one in AIQ are really good trader ETFs. Especially when you're looking at this AI movement here, because you can also see here, look at, okay, you had 17.33 here, and you got as high as 30.26. So that's a good trade. That's a 13-point trade. So, you know, you buy 10,000 shares, you got yourself a little bit of green, okay? Same way here. You could have sold that there, rebought this here in this area, and then you had 22.26. You ran all the way up to 29.56. Okay, that's a good 7 points. That's more money and more money. You see how that all works there? So maybe you have to say, if you're interested in the AI trade and you don't want to take each individual stock, you know, like an Intel, a Meta, IBM, an Apple, an Amazon, a Google, a Qualcomm, etc., maybe this trade is for you. So that'd be AIQ and BOTZ. All right, that's what I got for you on Midday Trading. Thanks for watching.